Normally, I am one to just accept the blame and get out of any conflict or confrontation at all costs. It doesn't matter. I would rather just take responsibility, accept the blame, rather than confront anyone. But this was different.
Hi, my name's Krista, and welcome to Moms Simply Thriving, a channel focused on helping busy moms thrive daily with greater ease and less effort.
So, when I was single, I was living in Washington, D.C., and working at the Korean embassy. It was a smaller branch on Embassy Row. I lived in Korea for a while, and so I knew Korean and got hired right on the spot. But honestly, it was a very intimidating place to work for me. I'm pretty sure I was the only woman in the building and only one of two Americans working at the building. My boss was very stern, very strict. He was always yelling at one of his employees. He never once yelled at me, but I still felt really intimidated by him. And I felt the need to please him and to do my best to give it my all at that job. Well, we were preparing for some Korean dignitaries to come over, and I was in charge of finding their housing. And so I called a bunch of hotels and made a bunch of reservations that I could cancel until we settled on the right one. And there was this one hotel that we didn't end up going with that I didn't call back and cancel because I misunderstood the cancellation policy. Something about how they communicated to me what the policy was different from what they understood. And so the company was being charged for that hotel stay that we weren't going to be using, which was a lot of money. And my stomach dropped when I found this out. And I was mortified. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to figure this out. And I just wanted to hide and just avoid it. But this was something that I could not avoid because the company was taking the fall and I couldn't let that happen. But I was so nervous. I was so nervous to have this phone call. I just wanted somebody to do it for me because I do not like confrontation. I will avoid it at all costs. So I just had to muster up the courage to go do this and to have this phone call. And I had to tell myself beforehand that I was going to win this argument. No matter what I have to do or say, I've got to win. I've got to get this money back. And it actually took a lot of mindset work in that moment to realize where I was at fault and where I wasn't at fault. I just had to understand I didn't do anything wrong. It was a simple mistake, an honest misunderstanding that they also needed to be held accountable and not just me, which gave me the courage and the strength to have that conversation. So I got on the phone and I remember talking to this gentleman and we were going back and forth. You could say arguing, but we were very calm. We were very respectful. I felt bad for him, honestly, and I felt bad for myself that we were both just in this situation, each trying to defend our companies. But ultimately, I went out in the end and they gave us a full refund and I was in the clear. And it was the biggest relief. It was the biggest relief. And it was so empowering for me in that moment to recognize the fact that I can do that when necessary and when I really make up my mind that I can do it. And especially, it was empowering in a time when I was emotionally broken. I was emotionally at my lowest point I had been in my life. And so maybe that's exactly what I needed to get me out of that funk that I was in because I had to really compose myself when I was on that phone call. I had to keep my emotions in check. It was intense, but I came out on top. I was victorious in the end. And so it was a really awesome experience. So I just wanted to share that today. I hope that if you are not a confrontational person, that you can see the value in standing up for what is right, standing up for what you believe, standing up for what you feel strongly about, for your truth, for your values. So I'm so curious. Please let me know in the comments, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person who avoids conflict at all costs? Or are you the kind of person who seeks it out and kind of eggs it on, who likes to get into a debate? And if you'd like, please share a takeaway that you've gained from the story, something that you want to do differently because of what I've shared today. and have an awesome day.